What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Sly Jordy, and welcome back to some more F1 25 driver career mode for the Dutch Grand Prix around circuit Zandvoort. And if you missed last episode, it was the Hungarian Grand Prix where we went back to reality a little bit, a bit of a reality check after the really euphoric win at Spa. We still managed to get a P9 despite that though, but we did once again fall to P5 in the standings. Charles Leclerc's not too far behind us neither, so we might be battling for P6 with Yuki Tsunoda this season. So Red Bull have surely got to be thinking about promoting us to that seat. However, meanwhile, we're having secret meetings with Aston Martin, so that can come into play throughout this season. Of course, we'll have more secret meetings other than the initial one that we had. We haven't got one right now, though, so we're just going straight into the next weekend. We're getting some weekly resources, so maybe we could get a new upgrade in, perhaps.
All the new parts have been fabricated, and we're going to have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
What are they on about? I've got no upgrades coming into the next Grand Prix. I don't even think I've got any in development. I do. I have the tyre blankets. Well, Hajar's doing that. We've got some powertrain upgrades that we could possibly go for, but we're already... Oh, Ferrari have actually overtaken us in the powertrain department. How are we looking in terms of chassis? I am trying to bring in the plank, but that's not going to come until after Zandvoort, unfortunately. That definitely needs improvement if Hungary was anything to go by. Our aerodynamics are looking pretty good though, so I think we can leave that for a bit. Honestly, we're getting up to a point where I don't really want to upgrade the car anymore, mainly because why would I? You know, we're not going to be at this team next season. We'll either be at Red Bull or Aston Martin. I'll get the durability upgrade, sure, but other than that, honestly, we might stop putting development into the car, at least ourselves anyway, and just focus on maximizing the results until we get a new car in Season 2 in 2026. So without further ado, it's time to head down to the circuit Zandvoort. This is actually going to be the final time that we go around this circuit for a while, because Zandvoort is one of the reverse tracks added to F1 25. So from Season 2 onwards, we'll just be using the reverse tracks. Unless I don't enjoy one of them, then obviously we can go back, but I highly doubt it. It's the same track at the end of the day. But yeah, going on to our workstation now, I want to see the progress history and see who's brought in upgrades for this session. So Mercedes and Ferrari have brought in some upgrades. McLaren have a minor upgrade. Sauber have brought in an upgrade. Everybody has brought in an upgrade except from us. We have stagnated a little bit there. Yeah, pretty much everybody's brought in an upgrade. So this is going to be an interesting weekend. I don't think we'll have to worry too much, though. We've not really had to contend with the Mercedes and Aston Martin too much. Williams, however, they've got some strong results this season, and Haas are always there in the background. So definitely looking out for them. But in terms of Ferrari, Red Bull and McLaren, they've brought in some upgrades. Actually, I'm not sure if... Red Bull haven't brought in any upgrades. So it's Ferrari, Mercedes, McLaren that are the ones to look out for going into this weekend. In terms of our ICE, it's actually time to put in our fourth one now that we've just hit 50% on this one. So very soon, probably toward like around Brazil or Vegas, we'll have to take a grid penalty. I'm most likely going to do that at Brazil because I'm really good around Brazil, probably the strongest track of mine. So if we're going to take any grid penalties and start from the back of the grid at any track, it's going to be that one. In terms of the rest of these parts, we're looking all right. The MGUH can go one more GP, I think. But other than that, it is just time to head into qualifying around Zandvoort. Let's do it.
Just look at that sea of orange. No surprises if I tell you we're here in Holland at Zandvoort for the Max Verstappen celebration party. It's a quick track and perfect for high speeds, high stakes qualifying. Welcome along to the Dutch Grand Prix qualifying day.
Well, here we are at ZANDVOORT circuit. Honestly, this track was very similar to Canada with how I used to feel about it. In the previous regulation of games, so like up until F1 2021, particularly 2020, ZANDVOORT was among my favourite tracks along with Canada, and I think Russia was up there as well. But then as soon as we've gotten into these newer regulations, the ground effect era, yeah, it's kind of died down a little bit. It's definitely not one of my favourite tracks on the calendar anymore. Not one of my least favourites, it's just kind of there. I think that's mostly because ZANDVOORT and Canada felt very smooth on those old regulations, whereas if you go back to those older games, and with the, you know, those cars, it's definitely, the turns and the corners are not as smooth as they are in the ground effects era, which obviously is the way these cars are built. Obviously, you got to be a lot more smoother on the turn-in, but yeah, now that every track is like that, it's kind of died down a little bit, my hype for ZANDVOORT in Canada, but it is still a very, very good track. There's a sea of orange for fans that are here to support Max Verstappen, of course. So if he ever retires in the career mode or even in real life, I don't think ZANDVOORT will be on the calendar for very long. But as for this first lap, honestly, it wasn't the greatest. I think I spent a bit too much ERS earlier on in the lap. We're nearly 3/10 off of pole. And as we go into our final lap, not much of an improvement is being made, although there is a larger improvement later on in the lap towards the end of Sector 2 going into Sector 3. That original lap was good enough for P15, so we're not looking too quick, so to speak, but it is very much like the last race where we might qualify pretty low down, but we could probably improve later on. Who knows though? We have a little bit more ERS to spend right at the end of this lap here, just over a tenth up. Where does that have us? P13, so not horrible at all considering the circumstances, but we've got people like Jack Doohan and Oliver Behrman up there, both Haasers in the top 10. Nico Hulkenberg right ahead of us in the Sauber. Russell's qualified low down. The Williams have qualified pretty low down. Hadjar has done horrible. I don't know what's going on there, but without further ado, P13, let's go to the grid.
For years, the passionate Dutch fans have been easy to find trackside in races across Europe. Here this weekend, it's even easier to find the Dutch fans as they have a race to call their own once again. A warm welcome to all of our viewers in the Netherlands and around the globe, of course, as we get underway for the Dutch Grand Prix. ZANDVOORT circuit has 14 corners, 10 to the right and 4 to the left, with plenty of steep camber and elevation changes to keep our drivers on their toes throughout the 2.6-mile lap. And alongside me for this afternoon's commentary, Naomi Schiff. Good afternoon, Gnomes. Now, Ant, I could go on for hours, and I probably will, about the atmosphere here today, the sea of orange, this Dutch Formula One festival. But once you're in the cockpit, once the visor's down, what are the challenges for the drive?
Well, what an incredible circuit. It feels just like a roller coaster. This track has some extreme banking that if you walk the track, you almost feel like you're horizontal. It also has some blind corners, so make sure you're not looking at the nose of your car and that you're looking far ahead. And if you look far enough past the orange army, you might even spot the beach.
It's going to be a struggle to match our last result, but let's see what you can do.
Well, considering the last result was, what, P9? It seriously can't be that difficult to replicate. And honestly, the tyre wear hasn't looked too bad at all. Honestly, this has been one of the least demanding. In fact, we actually struggle to keep the tyres heated up. As you can see, these soft tyres are really cold. So very strange, but that means the soft tyres can last a lot longer than they can on any other track. So I think this might be the first race of the season where the softs are actually viable in the race. So the initial strategy here is soft to hards. We'll see what happens as we go along, but we've got mediums and hard tyres all around us. We could be on for a pretty good race start here. as we are now lights out and underway. Charles Leclerc is just ahead of us, so he received a grid penalty. We're going to get past him. Hulkenberg looks to cut off Leclerc. It's 3 wide now going into this corner. We're going to actually go around the outside of Doohan and Stroll, perhaps. Stroll has to take a little bit of evasive action. I don't think he saw us there, but we took advantage of that, and we have jumped all the way up to P9, now going around the outside of Antonelli, who is on colder hard tyres. So those hard tyres and medium runners are definitely going to be struggling if we can hardly get our tyres heated up. But what a start. That is a P8 from P13, and we're not even halfway through the lap. That is absolutely insane. Now diving down the inside of Behrman, a little bit of contact with his side pod there. That was a little bit too ambitious from us right there, so I'm going to back off just a little bit. But P8 is not bad at all considering where we started, and we are honestly on for some really good pace throughout this Grand Prix. Behrman on the softs making a really good decision there. Ocon is a little bit more up the field in P5. Tsunoda's in P6. He'll be hoping to get past pretty soon. Lando Norris leads ahead of Max Verstappen, Oscar Piastri in P3, and I assume that will be Hamilton in P4. So yeah, Lando Norris setting the fastest lap of the Grand Prix. He needs to start putting together some wins because Verstappen is starting to run away with the championship, as now we go towards the end of lap 2. This is our chance to overtake Oliver Behrman. As Hamilton sets the fastest lap, Behrman goes ultra defensive and leaves open a massive gap around the outside here. We're struggling to make it round the corner though, and Behrman is back at us. It's side by side, but we do have the majority of the racing line. 2 cars will not go into this corner very well. You'd have to be very daring to want to go too wide through there. So yeah, we're able to get that move done on Oliver Behrman right there. Hopefully he does have a good race. He really does deserve points. He's had some pretty good races in our career this season. We took it away from him before in Spain, but this is further up the field now. As we go on to lap 7, Ocon looking to defend against Tsunoda as Yuki makes the pass. He gets the pass done pretty well right there. As my engineer actually talks to me about switching strategy because of the tyre degradation. But honestly, even at this stage of the Grand Prix, the soft tyres are feeling pretty good. In fact, we're actually really keeping up with the likes of Ocon and Tsunoda, despite those two battling to the point that there's now a large gap between Tsunoda and whoever is in P4. We've got the objective of staying ahead of Behrman until lap 11, which I don't think we'll have much of an issue with, as I dive down the inside, of Esteban Ocon. Ocon is able to defend that pretty well, but we do cost them a little bit of time, and that should actually help us going on to the next straight. As I mean, Ocon was going to lose DRS anyway, but we've pretty much cemented that, which means we could quite possibly take P6 from Esteban here, a guy that we have been battling with at numerous points throughout this season. As we now go on to the trackside cameras, Behrman's not too far behind us, so getting this move done is definitely going to cost us a little bit of time, and Behrman might have an opportunity to come at whoever is on the losing end of this exchange. Ocon goes defensive. We're going to say thank you very much for opening the door, going around the outside and taking P6 right here, hopefully looking to catch up to Yuki Tsunoda here. Although our soft tyres are pretty worn at this point, it is now just about maintaining this position as we are now on the onboard of Oliver Behrman, watching myself and Ocon do battle here. Ollie will be looking to make a pass at some point. Oh no! Oh no, Ollie! Oh dear. Oliver Behrman spinning out, and that is him done with this race. No damage to the car, fortunately, but it doesn't matter anyway. He has fallen all the way to the back of the grid and held up a bunch of cars, and the safety car is called out. So we'll be looking to get a free pit stop this lap. As my engineer is talking about it, we managed to get these tyres to 61% wear. So yeah, really, the soft tyres were not bad at all. As we are now coming into the pits. In fact, as you can tell by the bottom right, we're actually changing strategy. With this free pit stop, we could still have another pit stop later on. I don't think I feel safe going on to the hards all the way until the end of the race, and I'm not sure if I even have another set of softs. So we're going to go soft, mediums, mediums. So we'll be going on the mediums in about 10 or so laps, depending on what happens in this race. But it's a pretty good pit stop for us right there. Yeah, I don't know what it is about the noobs in the F1 grid this year on this game. Last race it was Hajar spinning out. This one it's Behrman. It's such a shame, man. He was on for some really good points, like really good points for himself there. That is really unfortunate for him, as now we move on to lap 13, going on to lap 14. The safety car is coming in this lap, and I feel like I really want to get this move done on Lando Norris, who is on the softs. If we don't get it done here, we're not going to get it done at any time. We're diving down the inside, and we managed to get past Tsunoda as well, making a little bit of contact with the back of Hamilton. No damage has been done. Even if there is, it's significantly minor. Definitely no damage to Hamilton, that's for sure. But yeah, that is a very good overtake. And now, after starting P13 with the help of an amazing start and the safety car, we are now up into P4 legitimately. So this is incredible for us. What an amazing race this has been. What a really surprising race this has been, as we now dive down the inside of Lewis Hamilton, looking to take the move here. And I'm going to try and dive again. I really want to get past Hamilton, and that admittedly was pretty desperate. Definitely not the best decision for us, but fortunately we are going to get DRS a couple of laps later. So Hamilton was able to keep us behind for quite a while, but with no DRS, there isn't really much he can do, and we're going to say thank you very much once more and go around the outside of Hamilton. As further up the field, Piastri has now overtaken Verstappen. Of course, Verstappen will be going on to the end of the race on those hards. Yeah, I don't know about that strategy. Maybe he should have changed it like us. Piastri will be pitting again, however, so I bet Max is banking on Piastri getting stuck behind a bunch of cars, regardless of whether or not he pits again, which he will. But yeah, he's pretty much banking on that, as we are now looking to defend from Lewis Hamilton. I'm going to go defensive. We're not going to be under too much pressure, I don't think. Actually, no, Hamilton is going to... Oh my god, he's going to commit to it. He's gone over the curb to commit to it, and we're now side by side going around the banking here. This is incredible racing from the AI here, as Lewis Hamilton really wants that spot back, but a safety car has been called again, and somehow we're able to keep P3. It's Carlos Sainz who is out of the session. I have no idea what happened there. That was an amazing fight with Hamilton. And now the safety car has been called out, and we're going to pit earlier onto another set of mediums. We're now going onto the onboard of Sainz just to see what happened. I'm assuming it might have been a crash. He's looking to chase down the Alpine of Jack Doohan, and oh, he's going slow. It's an engine failure. And if we look at the back of his car, there's no plume of smoke coming out, but there is a huge blockage behind him. So that, if it wasn't a safety car already, him parking here is certainly going to be a safety car. It's a very dangerous spot to park the car, but there's nothing he could have really done about that. Very strange. That's the second engine failure we've seen this season with no plume of smoke coming out the back of the car. I wonder if that's a bug or not. I'm not sure, but coming into the pits now onto another set of mediums for the last 16 laps of the race. Of course, a little bit less than that. It's probably going to be more like 14. Still going to be a lot of tyre wear if the softs were anything to go by. So we'll see how the mediums are towards the end of the race. It's Hamilton behind us, and Hamilton hasn't had the greatest race. He's gotten a bit shafted by the safety car, but this safety car definitely gives him a little bit of a lifeline. I'm not sure what's going to be happening up top. I know Verstappen and Tsunoda, they've got to make their pit stops. If Verstappen is even pitting, I'm really not sure what's going to go on there. Verstappen is still in P1. It's Norris in P2, Tsunoda P3. So Tsunoda is still going as well as Norris and Leclerc. Piastri has pitted again because he was P2. So we'll see how that strategy goes as we now look to make the pass down the inside of Lance Stroll and also down the inside of George Russell, who's actually sticking to me side by side once again. So yeah, the AI racing today has been incredible, but we're going to go around the outside. Russell is still yet to pit, so those are old softs as we are now on fresh mediums. Very strange how some drivers have just chosen not to pit. I don't know what's going on there. It would have been better if everybody chose to pit, and then, you know, everybody would have been in their proper track position and whatever. But other than the hard tyre runners like Verstappen, of course, but he'll be quite worried because the 3 cars behind him, they'll be pitting soon, and then Piastri will be released on those fresh mediums that he's on. So that would be very, very dangerous, as we are now going back onto our onboard. It's now going to be 2 wide, Tsunoda and Leclerc. Piastri's going to make it 3 wide, looking to go around the outside here. Leclerc, ooh, a little bit dicey there between him and Tsunoda. And we're going to say thank you very much for that, as he opens the door for us and we're able to take P5. Leclerc is on old tyres, of course, definitely the worst of all of them. So he probably lost a bit of grip and decided to back out, and then decided it wasn't worth fighting us at all. So Tsunoda's definitely on hard tyres as well. Shaky going through that corner. We could get the move done here around the outside. A very unorthodox position to make the move, but there it is, P4. So Piastri fighting those guys has destabilized Tsunoda and Leclerc, and we were able to get some easy passes done right there. And we were still behind Yuki when we went over the DRS detection points, so we got some free DRS there as well. So that's good that we're putting a couple of cars between us and Hamilton. I've got no idea when those cars will be pitting. Lando is chasing down Verstappen, of course, pretty close to him, so not too far behind at all. As we now go on the onboard of him, he is now pitting. He just has to. Terrible strategy from them today, as Verstappen will now be able to go even further ahead in the championship, and with only 9 laps left to go, or 10 laps, yeah, Norris will be starting from really low down in the grid. So even if he does get back within the points, that's going to be a huge loss. So Verstappen is unlikely to win this race, but that P2 is going to be really strong for him anyway. So maybe it was a good strategy. Maybe he's not worried about Piastri in the championship just yet, but he should be worried in this race. Of course, this is his home Grand Prix. He really wants to win. And look at these two side by side. Such great racing between these two, as Verstappen is able to keep the position. However, it's only a matter of time before Piastri does make the pass. It is on the next lap, around the outside. This time Oscar has learned, and yeah, Verstappen, no chance there. He tried, but yeah, Piastri is on much fresher tyres, and now Piastri will be released into clean air. He will go well out ahead, 3 seconds ahead of Verstappen, as we now go back onto our onboard. And like I guessed earlier, we are struggling towards the end of this race on the mediums. The front left is actually really worn, so I'm going to have to nurse these home while Hamilton pressures us on the second to last lap here. Going on to the final lap, Oscar Piastri has absolutely took the victory here. Verstappen, a very strong P2. Hamilton going down our inside here, looking to take this move, but we still have enough time to make the move around the outside to make sure that we take back the position. But look at that front left. If you guys remember Austria, that was around the time we received a puncture, so I am terrified at this point. We're going to have to really focus on easing that tyre through this lap. So we can't go proper aggressive into the corners, but that also means we're going to be really slow going around a lot of these, and Hamilton is not going to have any problem at all keeping up with this. He is definitely going to be a lot better at saving those tyres, a much better chassis on that Ferrari. We are really overperforming on this car, that is for sure, especially when it comes down to the chassis. The tyre wear is our weakest point. And honestly, I'm going to have to spend a bit more ERS just to make sure that we stay ahead of Lewis here. But we really don't have enough ERS at all. So here we go, as Oscar Piastri comes across the line to win here at Zandvoort. Verstappen won't be happy about that, but that's a very strong points haul versus Norris. Down the main straight once more. Here we go. Hamilton peels off towards the left, and it just might be enough for us to take P3. What? How? He didn't pass me. What? How on earth has that happened? Look at that. Did you see how close that was? I can't even see where he passed us. That's absolutely insane. I have no idea. I mean, it looks like we're ahead when it says that he's in P3. I don't get it. Like, it looked like, if you look at the front wheels, that we were a bit in front there. Wow. So a photo finish across the line, and Lewis steals P3 from us.
Flag for your Grand Prix race winner, Oscar Piastri.
What a wonderful drive to see them come from far down the grid to win the race. Those days are the ones that throw the biggest challenges at you, and to stick out and win it is an incredible job.
We had drama from start to finish, but in the end, there was only ever one that could take that top spot. They give out trophies for the winners. Today, they're Oscars. Your winner today, Oscar Piastri.
Well, I feel really, really hard done by. That should have been us up there on that podium. Lewis Hamilton, the absolute fraud, steals P3 right there. I didn't see where he overtook me at all, and I really looked as much as possible. The thumbnail actually makes it look as though I was ahead, but you know, of course there's motion blur going on there. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't know if Hamilton really got that victory there. It's just so close between us. I don't get it. I feel really hard done by there. Honestly, that was awful. But in other news, Max Verstappen is now 61 points ahead in the championship, and Red Bull are only 13 points behind in the Constructors. So it's really heating up in the Constructors side of things, but Max is starting to run away with the championship. I don't know, man. I feel so hard done by that loss of the podium there. I don't feel like he overtook me at all. I really don't, but we move up to a 75 overall now, so that matches us up with our ratings rival Antonelli. So the P4 is still a phenomenal result with the amount of overtakes that we did make. So it was still a good race nonetheless, just soured a bit at the end there by a pretty controversial finish. But guys, thank you all so much for tuning in and watching this episode of F125 Career. If you liked it, be sure to hit that like button as hard as you possibly can, comment, share and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video. Until next time, peace.